With former Defense Secretary and former CIA Director Leon Panetta. Mr. Secretary, thank you so much for being with us. This surge in Houthi attacks that the White House is responding to, do you think the Houthis' motivation here is to please Iran? Is this coming of their own volition? Why do you think they're doing this?
Oh, I don't think there's any question that the Houthis are proxies for Iran. And that Iran is pretty much behind a lot of the attacks by various proxies throughout that region, including the Houthis. So there's no question that the Houthis would not have been able to accomplish this without support from Iran.
And so how much of their effort in the Red Sea do you think is directed locally in Yemen? How much involvement do you think Iran has beyond supplying weapons?
I think that just as the attacks against our forces in Iraq, in Syria, and elsewhere are intended to try to strike at those who are supporting, obviously, Israel. I think the Houthis are basically making these attacks in order to go after commerce in the Red Sea and be able to send a message that they're going to continue to disrupt navigation in the Red Sea as long as the war continues in Gaza and with Hamas. So that's the message. And the counter message has to be one that I think the president and our allies were sending, which is, if you continue to do this, you're going to pay a price.
Going back to the point about the potential for retaliation, there are members of the president's party on Capitol Hill who believe that this kind of strike could lead to a further escalation. It doesn't sound like you buy that argument.
Now, listen, I've been dealing with terrorists in the various positions I've had. And frankly, pretty please does not work with terrorists. If you want to have a deterrence, we went through all of the steps to try to ask them not to do this. An ultimatum was clearly issued to them time and time again. We've been doing it for 3 months, but their response was to then send a huge barrage of drones and missiles against shipping in the Red Sea. We can't just stand back and allow that to continue and have any kind of credible deterrence in that region. So what the United States and our allies did was to make very clear that if they're going to continue to do this, they're going to pay a price. And that's what this attack was all about, and it's the right thing to do.
So if the root for this violence in the Red Sea and in Gaza with Hamas and Hezbollah in Lebanon, if the root of these groups is Iran, and Iran is actively accelerating its nuclear program, shouldn't the United States be more assertive with Tehran? Is that your view?
Well, I don't think there's any question that diplomatically we have to continue to send signals to Iran about their support for proxy forces in the region. We have to continue to make it clear that we're aware that they are supporting these forces. But at the same time, look, Iran does not want to engage in a full-scale conflict. They're going to fight till the last Houthi is dead. Or the last proxy is dead. That's their approach to the conflict that we're now dealing with in the Middle East. And so the best way to send Iran a message is to send their proxies a message that they can't get away with what they're doing.
Former Defense Secretary Leon Panetta apologized for that interruption from President Biden. He says he's going to speak more about this soon to come. You're more than welcome to come back and discuss anytime.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
Of course. Though the